It is Monday, and welcome back to the Build Log. I am Maki, and this is episode 20. The AI boom has escaped the data center and entered your shopping cart because memory chips are getting scarce, cloud budgets are getting larger, and your next laptop may be paying a tiny infrastructure tax.
I am Kai, and I opened a laptop listing this morning that now qualifies as a starter home. Apparently, the memory is unified, the price is diversified, and my wallet has been converted into a read-only archive.
Today, we follow one supply chain, from high-bandwidth memory inside AI accelerators to ordinary DRAM, storage, Macs, iPads, cloud construction, and consumer prices. Every current figure is sourced or clearly attributed. Forecasts are not guarantees, and this is analysis, not investment advice.
Maki made a supply chain map with arrows, footnotes, and one small skull beside the phrase upgrade budget. She says the skull is a neutral market indicator. I say it is the last known image of affordable RAM.
A neutral skull. First, the part people confuse. High bandwidth memory, or HBM, sits close to powerful accelerators and moves enormous amounts of data quickly. Ordinary computers use different memory products, but the same manufacturers must allocate factories, tools, engineers, capital, and packaging capacity across those markets.
So an AI server is not literally stealing the memory stick from my desk. It is offering the manufacturer a much larger dinner reservation, ordering the premium menu, and asking whether the whole restaurant can be converted into private dining.
Exactly. The competition is indirect, but real. Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron can earn more from advanced server products, so investment and production priorities follow demand and margins. That can tighten supply elsewhere, even when the chips are not identical.
My old laptop has 8 gigabytes and the confidence of a machine that has never met 2026. One browser tab enters, the fan files a complaint, and the operating system starts negotiating which application gets to remain conscious.
Still loading. That pressure became visible in Apple's latest quarter. Apple reported its strongest June quarter, with revenue of $109.42 billion and profit of $29.79 billion. Strong demand did not make the memory problem disappear.
This is the strange part of the AI economy. A company can sell more devices, earn more money, and still look at the component invoice like it just received a ransom note written in semiconductor terminology.
Apple had already raised prices on a number of Macs and iPads, citing a memory chip shortage associated with rapid AI data center expansion. The company said it had absorbed component increases before reaching the point where some prices had to move.
Apple absorbed the cost until the cost developed gravity. Then the Mac looked at the iPad looked at the price tag, and both agreed the customer had been selected for a surprise capital contribution.
A capital contribution. The lesson is not that every Apple price change comes from AI. Product mix, tariffs, currency, design changes, and positioning also matter. The important fact is that Apple publicly connected these increases to memory and storage pressure from the AI build-out.
That is a receipt consumers can understand. Nobody at the store asks about wafer allocation. They ask why the same upgrade now costs enough to include emotional support and a complimentary chair.
Apple still beat expectations, which gives it room to manage higher costs. But device makers eventually choose among lower margins, higher prices, different configurations, delayed launches, or long supply contracts. None of those choices makes the shortage free.
The new product ladder is simple. Base model, more memory, and please contact your financial institution. Maki selected 32 gigabytes because she believes browser tabs deserve civil rights.
Financial institution. I selected it because production workloads are not decorative. For viewers, the key market question is whether consumers accept higher prices or keep older devices longer. A component shortage can enrich suppliers while quietly reducing demand for the products using those components.
That means the winning memory company could still help create a losing quarter for somebody selling laptops. The supply chain is a group project where the student with the scarce component gets to choose the grading curve.
The second receipt came from Amazon. After strong cloud results, Amazon raised its expected 2026 capital spending from about $200 billion to about $220 billion. Chief Executive Andy Jassy cited higher memory chip costs as the main reason for the increase.
$20 billion was added because memory got expensive. That is not a price adjustment. That is an entire additional budget arriving in a forklift, wearing a safety vest, and asking where the new data center wing should go.
It's over 9,000!
The forklift. Amazon's situation is different from Apple's. AWS is buying memory as part of infrastructure that it expects to monetize through cloud services. AWS sales grew about 37%, the fastest pace in 18 quarters, so the spending increase arrived beside strong demand evidence.
The cloud grew fast enough to support the argument, but the shopping list is terrifying. GPUs, networking, power, cooling, memory, and enough cables to create a small copper-based weather event.
Not every dollar in Amazon's capital plan belongs to generative AI. The budget also supports logistics, semiconductors, satellites, and broader technology. The relevant connection is narrower. Management specifically identified memory prices as the main reason the total plan moved higher.
Somewhere an accountant typed plus 20 billion, clicked save, and Windows asked whether they were sure. They clicked yes, the computer restarted, and the budget came back with another data center.
Another data center. At hyperscaler scale, even a modest increase per server multiplies across enormous deployments. Memory also affects accelerator utilization. Expensive compute waiting on data movement is wasted capacity. So buyers care about bandwidth, capacity, power, reliability, and supply guarantees together.
A premium accelerator without enough memory bandwidth is a sports car trapped behind a delivery van. It looks expensive, makes impressive noises, and spends the afternoon staring at the same brake lights.
Now follow the money upstream. Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron dominate global DRAM supply. They are racing to expand HBM and advanced server memory because AI customers are buying large volumes, signing longer commitments, and paying for performance that directly affects model throughput.
The memory makers found the premium section of the buffet. Consumer RAM is asking for another tray of pasta, while HBM reserved the private room, hired a string quartet, and brought 3 hyperscalers with corporate cards.
Corporate cards. TrendForce reported that AI-driven demand is expected to outpace supply expansion across the 3 major DRAM makers into 2027. That is a forecast, not destiny, but it explains why customers are securing supply earlier and why a tight seller's market can persist despite new factories.
Factories do not appear because a forecast had good engagement. They require land, equipment, clean rooms, skilled workers, qualification, and enough patience to make Maki's rendering queue look spontaneous.
Capacity decisions also take years, while demand can change within quarters. Producers must decide how much to invest without repeating the memory industry's old cycle. Shortage, huge expansion, oversupply, price collapse, and an earnings call where everyone suddenly discovers the word discipline.
Memory discipline is when the industry remembers the last crash right up until everybody sees the same high-margin chart. Then the chart says, "This time is different," puts on sunglasses, and drives directly toward another factory announcement.
Run.
This time is different. If this supply chain map is useful, hit the like button. It tells us you want more episodes that connect AI announcements to the physical components, prices, and businesses underneath them, instead of stopping at a product demo.
And it helps fund my campaign for browser tab rationing. Maki currently has enough tabs open to qualify as a distributed system, except a distributed system usually knows where its resources went.
Distributed tabs. The third effect is the spillover into ordinary DRAM and NAND storage. AI servers use specialized parts, but producers allocate capital and manufacturing attention toward the most profitable demand. Tightness can spread through contract prices, module supply, SSDs, PCs, and phones.
The shortage has levels. First, your RAM kit costs more. Then the SSD joins in. Then your phone upgrade looks at both of them and announces it has entered a luxury collaboration.
Luxury collaboration. Industry executives and analysts have warned that conventional module supply may tighten further as server memory absorbs capacity. Exact forecasts vary, so we should track actual contract prices and shipments rather than treating the most dramatic estimate as a guaranteed outcome.
That is Maki, politely saying, do not build your financial plan around a headline written in all caps. She keeps a small spray bottle labeled context and uses it whenever a chart starts behaving too confidently.
The smartphone market adds another pressure point. Reports indicate mobile chip and memory costs are rising, but final device prices depend on contracts, product tiers, launch timing, and how much a manufacturer chooses to absorb. A component increase is pressure, not an automatic retail price formula.
My phone now has 3 cameras, an AI button, and the financial posture of a small yacht. If the next model asks for a down payment, I am keeping this one until the battery becomes a historical artifact.
A small yacht. Supply cannot switch instantly. HBM uses advanced stacking and packaging. Qualification takes time, and fabs are not interchangeable vending machines. Moving investment upstream can constrain mature products long before new capacity is ready.
You cannot press H 3 times on the factory keyboard and receive HBM. I checked. Maki removed my keyboard access after the clean room incident, which was unfair because the hairnet looked technically compliant.
For Monday's market map, there are potential winners and cost bearers. Memory suppliers gain pricing power when demand exceeds supply. Equipment and packaging companies benefit from expansion. Cloud builders pay more upfront, but may recover it through services. Device makers face margin and demand risk.
And consumers receive the commemorative invoice. It has a beautiful embossed logo, 16 gigabytes of unified regret, and a note thanking us for supporting the future of intelligence.
Commemorative invoice. Memory makers still face risk. High prices encourage expansion, customers redesign systems, efficiency improves, and demand can slow. The sector has historically been cyclical, so record conditions do not abolish supply and demand math.
Every boom eventually meets a warehouse. The warehouse is quiet, fully stocked, and waiting to ask whether anybody remembers ordering all of this during the earnings call.
Cloud companies have another lever: efficiency. Better model architecture, quantization, caching, scheduling, custom silicon, and higher utilization can reduce memory required per useful task. Scarcity increases the value of software that extracts more output from each installed system.
Optimization is the moment an engineer saves 10% and finance reacts like they discovered a new continent. Maki reacts the same way when I close one browser tab voluntarily.
One whole tab. Device makers can alter base configurations, emphasize premium models, negotiate long-term contracts, or accept lower margins. Watch whether entry prices rise, whether storage upgrades become more expensive, and whether buyers delay replacement cycles.
The danger is shrinkflation with a charging cable. Same price, less memory. One exciting AI feature, and a presentation explaining that limitation is actually a carefully curated experience.
Curated limitation. Consumers have options too. Keep devices longer, buy refurbished, compare configurations, wait for promotions, or prioritize memory at purchase, because many modern products cannot be upgraded later. Scarcity makes buying decisions less forgiving.
My strategy is to keep the old computer until it develops a personality. It already sighs when I open video editing software, so we are one firmware update away from emotional continuity.
Emotional continuity. Here is the 4-part scoreboard. First, HBM and server memory shipment growth. Second, contract pricing for conventional DRAM and NAND. Third, supplier capital spending and new capacity timing. Fourth, whether device demand weakens as costs reach retail.
Maki's scoreboard has no green arrow labeled vibes. I submitted one. She returned it with comments, a source request, and a note saying the arrow lacked a reproducible methodology.
Reproducible vibes. Metric 1 is allocation. If more wafers, packaging, and engineering move toward HBM, that supports AI infrastructure, but can tighten other segments. Long-term customer commitments matter because they reduce uncertainty for expensive factory investment.
Nothing says romance like a multi-year memory supply agreement. Roses fade, but reserved packaging capacity tells a hyperscaler you truly understand its throughput requirements.
Reserved capacity. Metric 2 is price versus margin. Higher memory prices help suppliers only if production costs, yields, and expansion spending remain controlled. For buyers, the question is whether revenue growth and efficiency offset the component increase.
The component invoice does not care about the keynote. It sits backstage, crosses its arms, and waits for somebody to explain how the magical product demo pays net 30.
Net 30. Metric 3 is consumer elasticity. Apple's strong quarter shows buyers can tolerate some pressure, but one quarter does not prove unlimited pricing power. Watch unit demand, product mix, promotions, and replacement cycles across PCs, tablets, and phones.
Elasticity is the formal term for how far a price can stretch before the customer says absolutely not and becomes emotionally attached to a 6-year-old laptop.
Emotional attachment. A common viewer concern is that prices rise during a shortage, but never fully return when supply improves. That can happen, but competition may appear through discounts, better base specifications, refurbished inventory, or new products, rather than a simple reversal of the sticker price.
So the price may not walk backward. It may stand still while the specifications slowly catch up and marketing announces a value revolution. The invoice receives a new font, and everybody agrees not to discuss last year.
A value revolution. The careful conclusion is that AI demand is creating a real memory premium, but the size and duration of the consumer effect remain measurable questions. Track supply, contracts, prices, capacity, instead of assuming either permanent shortage or instant relief.
In other words, do not panic buy RAM like canned food before a storm, unless Maki opens another editing project. Then secure the memory, notify the power company, and move away from the render queue.
Notify the power company. If this episode helped connect HBM, cloud spending, Apple pricing, and your next device, like the video and subscribe. Tell us which everyday product has shown you the clearest AI memory tax, and which supply chain topic we should trace next.
Please answer before Maki traces the supply chain into my snack drawer. She already found the chips, labeled them semiconductor adjacent, and scheduled an audit of the remaining capacity.
Semiconductor adjacent. That is episode 20. The AI economy is not only models and benchmarks, it is factories, packaging, contracts, memory bandwidth, device margins, and consumer choices. We will keep following the physical receipts underneath the software headlines.
The future is intelligent. The memory is allocated, and my upgrade budget has entered archival storage. We will see you in the next build log, assuming Maki has not converted the studio into a clean room by Tuesday.
By Tuesday.